All right, next episode. Welcome back to Still Waters. I know people say like radio voice, but sometimes I really wonder what that really means. I mean, sometimes you gotta know what's going on. Andre here. Anywho, let's get into it. So, I want to talk about sharpen the saw. There's an analogy where a man cut down a tree with a single swoop, while this other guy's just like hacking away at the tree. He still can't get through it in like a whole week. And this guy who's like chilling, spending time with the family, kids, this guy's like, hey, no way, this guy's gonna cut down the tree. He's a lazy bum. And he just comes in and swam, just cuts it down. It was, I think, I believe the analogy with Abraham Lincoln. He was saying, like, if you give me 7 days to cut down a tree, I'll spend 6 days sharpening my axe. This story teaches us. I want to title this talk, To Whom Much is Given, Much is Required. For some reason, we never do what we need to do to the exemplary degree. What does that mean? I believe it's because of it's either ignorance or it's arrogance. One of the two, if not both. If you're innocent, I'm going to say ignorance. You just don't know better. But if you do know better and you're still not doing it, that suggests to me that you're arrogant. You believe that the rules don't apply to you. Oh, Andre, I would study. I would do master my craft. I would go to Toastmasters. I would read the books. I would listen to other profound speakers on the subject and educate myself to the exemplary degree. But that doesn't apply to me. In fact, I can do less and still get those results. I bet you can. And I remember John Maxwell made this statement in one of his teachings. And he said, this is interesting. He says, if you want to be in the top 90%, you'll make a couple $100,000, six figures. You can get by like seriously, if you have talent in speaking and you can do it with ease, you don't get like a heat stroke on stage. You can talk effectively. You got the gift of gab. You got talent. Yeah. You can scrape by and not even try. I'll give you that. But if you want to be great, if you want to make an impact, if you want to make from thousands to millions, when he calls the 98%, and he's interesting, he says how 90% to like that 98%, that 2%, it's really strange. Like, it's like 10% differential difference, and yet the pay is astronomical. Well, Andre, I don't care about the pay. It's not so much the pay I want you to focus on, it's why are they paying you that much? Because you're the cream of the crop. You have mastered your craft. And what he describes is when he was doing sermons and preaching, they were so good that people would come around the county to come to his sermons. And then preachers like, oh my goodness, how do you do it? He's like, well, before, just give you some perspective, before, if I didn't even try, my friend, I could literally make a sermon. It would take me 20 minutes, an hour, at the worst. An hour to make a whole sermon for the congregation on Sunday of my week. It was child's play. But I wanted to not just get by or be good. I wanted to be great. You notice that he has that spirit of excellence. That concept of holding yourself to a higher standard than anyone else can hold to you. And it pays back dividends because you really master your craft. Apply that to anything, right? That mindset. But in any event, who can instill that in you but you? But in any event, and then he's like, well, I decided I want to make my sermons even better. Like, could I go even beyond that? And so it's like I would do research, I would study, I would go into different topics and vocations to connect the dots, make the sermon even more powerful. And I would invest 2 hours and sometimes upwards to 20. It's like, oh my God, he didn't just went double, he went like times 10 effort. And now he's got a time 10's life. I think it's important we understand that principle because you look at championships. We could say, well, you should have the desire to win. Well, by that logic, doesn't that mean that everyone who plays football, they should all win championships? They all have the desire to win. Does one desire to win more? I don't think so. I think it boils down to what you do in private will ultimately reveal what you do in public. They all have a desire, but ultimately, what determines it is what you do in private. Something to reflect on. I believe it was Napoleon Hill that said, if I could watch you for an entire day, he's dead by the way, but anywho, if I could watch you for an entire day, I could determine if you could be successful or not. And Success by Earl Nightingale, look up that guy, strangest secret in the world. He says success is not a dollar amount, it's not a dream, it's not aspirations. Reality of it is, success literally means the pursuit of a worthy ideal. So if you want to be a mother that raises 3 kids and do a good job of that, you're a success. If you want to be a father that provides for your family, that's a success. You're successful. Now, if you want to be a business owner, you want to make money, you want to get rich, well, that's a different topic. You have to have goals to get you there, right? But I digress. I say all this not because I'm trying to teach you something. I'm trying to reinforce these points. Also, because this talk is about to whom much is given, much is required. If you want to have more, I don't want to say you have to do more, but you have to recognize what needs to be done and not be pompous enough to believe that, well, also it's injustice, right? You want to be in the top 2% of excellence, but you want to do 10% of the work. It's an insult to the craft and to everyone who came before it. Yes, technology has made things easier, no doubt about that. But there are some things that will require your full strength and character. I would argue. If you like somebody, swipe right. If you don't like somebody, swipe left. If you want to get this food, just add order. Scan your finger and guess what? You get a meal delivered to your house for $37 plus tip. You know what's funny? There's no app for your dream. You can't swipe right on your goals. You can't swipe left on your bills. It's going to take your whole, it won't just take your fingers, it's going to take your whole being to become and get this done. Do not underestimate the challenge. That was the mistake Moses made. He killed an Egyptian. He had these aspirations to overthrow the Egyptian oppression on his people, so he kills an Egyptian, never realizing, you gotta kill these Egyptians, but that method ain't gonna work. And he basically underestimates the challenge, runs out of there because he's fearful for his life. Long story short, 40 years later, comes back with all power in his hands, God's help, drowns them in the Red Sea. Now they're all dead. It's like, yeah, he did the same concept, grander scale, with the help of Heavenly Father. The point is this: if you have a big dream, big goals, big aspirations, you're gonna need a team. I'm not endorsing any MLMs or anything. What I'm trying to teach you is you need to have a group of people that can help you do this. For example, this podcast, this YouTube channel, I didn't make it. My friends helped me out. And then you can say, well, Andre, I don't have that luxury. Neither did I. Until I found him. I believe what you focus on, it will eventually come to you, oddly enough. If you keep focusing on the things that you don't have, you'll keep losing. And if you keep focusing on what you can do and keep searching and knocking on doors, you will find what you need. I truly believe that. I think it's funny. you're probably expecting me to say, if you just follow these steps and follow these goals, and how do you do this and how do you do that so I can follow the steps. You know what's funny? I think about that. I think about, if you look back in your entire life, did you really plan everything? No. You just lived to the best of your ability, not haphazardly or confusedly. But what I'm saying is, you lived as the best version of yourself with your chin held high and did the work, whatever possible. Well, let me say it this way, as Craig Valentine said, being lucky, the term lucky, the formula for being lucky is when preparation and opportunity meet. You cannot wait for the opportunity to show up, but you're not prepared. You need to be prepared at all times, so then when the opportunity shows, guess what? You are called lucky. You just so happen to have these desires, and you just so happen to find somebody who was in alignment with that. How lucky. Interesting how that works. I believe it was Warren Buffett that said, if you prepare without a plan, then you plan to fail. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. Ultimately teaching us that it's not so much that we need to be melancholy with all the details. You can't have all the details, or paralysis of analysis, as they say. But you can do everything in your power. That's the key word. Have you done everything in your power? Have you done the research? Google. That's not the best research, but whatever. Have you asked questions to multiple people and they gave you their input? They gave you, hey, I don't know, but talk to this person. I think they might have helped, because people know people. I'm not saying networking. I'm not saying brown nose. I'm saying, what if somebody knows the person? What if that one person you talk to is the one that helps you find the one you need? Oh, I'm going to say that again, because I don't think you understand the ripple effect I'm suggesting. What if the person you talk to is the one that helps you find the one? Well, that's powerful. Reminds me of the Matrix, right? Remember where Morpheus was like, Neo, you're the one. And it's like, well, there's a lot of videos on that, but it's just interesting to me how Morpheus was a bad dude. That dude was awesome. He got things, and he was the boss. People perspective. And yet, Morpheus knew, I'm not the one, but I am the one that will find the one. He knew his role. You gotta respect that. You gotta respect a person that knows their role and owns it. If he didn't own it, man, what if he got arrogant and was like, oh, I'm the one, and just gets eviscerated? And he almost didn't even give up Neo, but I digress. So, with that, that's all I gotta say. I believe that helps somebody. So, do that inventory. What's your passion? What's your dreams? What's your goals? What's your ambition? Okay, that's great. I believe your purpose is anything that you find yourself a strange, passion for. For example, you have a passion for blank. For you, it's not even work. You just love doing it. And if it's beneficial for our society and people would appreciate it, let's say you like bakery. Dude, I met this chick where she just loves baking cupcakes. I was like, my God, she's fanatical about it. She went on a 20-minute tirade about cupcakes. You're like, this chick is crazy. But my God, no one could deny that chick loves baking. Just fixated. As I love talking. I love empowering and encouraging people. Right? I'm doing this off my... I'm not getting paid to do this. At least not yet. But again, that's a testament of one's, I would say, purpose and calling. They're doing it, and they got nothing to show for it. I mean, look at all the other, I don't know the story for the cell phone, but I remember some guy, he made it in his mother's garage? No money? What about Microsoft? Didn't that guy, he'd leave from IBM? Did it in his garage? What about everything? What about the light bulb? 10,000 failures? Kept on making light bulb like this. Like, you would think there's a gun pointed at this guy's head for that much work ethic. These people had an unusual work ethic in an area where they weren't getting compensated for. Oh, but it paid off. But my point is this: so you have a purpose, you have a passion. The question is, are you mastering? Do you want to? You can say if it's a hobby, but here's the thing: what if you make your hobby, especially with the internet, into a paid profession? I mean, heck, we're already doing. People are already getting paid for entertainment and all kinds of foolishness. Why can't you get paid for what you do? Surely it brings value to the marketplace and yourself and people around you, unless it's something really self-destructive. But hey, I'm not your mentor here. It's making you think. What's that thing that you would love to do and you get paid doing it? Oh my goodness. I know it sounds like advice you got from your high school counselor, but there's some truth there because here's the reality. What if I told you you should be a real estate person? Buy and own houses and flip them and rent them. But guess what? You don't want to do that. So what does that mean? My advice, though it is true, it's worthless to you because you don't have, there's nothing in you that says, oh, I want money, so I'll do that. And then you do that and you're like, wow, this sucks. Or you might love it. I don't know. Here's my point. If you don't have passion for it, you're not going to stick with it. Especially passion trumps pain. The Bible says when hope deferred maketh the heart sick. Look it up. Saying that if you hope and you keep getting denied, you'll eventually get sick of trying. But this is interesting. It says when passion returns, you will try again. That's interesting. That indicates to me that when we have failures and shortcomings and unexpected disappointments, we lose hope. We get discouraged. We don't want to try again. And yet, if you have a passion for that thing you hope for, you will have the strength to try again. That's very powerful. It's almost like an override switch. It nulls and voids the pain of failure, which is interesting, which indicates to me that is the line of demarcation between those who do and those who don't. Do you have a passion for it? Or maybe you're really desperate and if you don't make it, you're not going to survive. Like a Les Brown story, right? He had to go door knocking for his grandmama, and he was like, if I don't do this for his mother, his adoptive mother, and he was like, man, if I don't do this, we're not going to make it. So I don't have the luxury of backing out. There's that situation. You ain't got no choice but to. It's kind of funny. Once you don't have a choice, all those other feelings dissipate. Imposter syndrome and I don't know if I can do this and I'm scared. Yeah, all those feelings dissipate when money is that tight and your life is on the line. You're gonna be on the streets. So I guess all that insecurity just is gone. All right. To whom much is given. Have you given everything you got to get the things you want? Or are you just doing it haphazardly? I don't mean to get on you, but I mean to get on you. Hey, this applies to me too. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I got involved in a John C. Maxwell certified. There's that stage to scale with Pete Vargas and all kinds of stuff, man. There's Toastmasters, reading books in communication, listening to audios on YouTube. Sometimes you don't really know what you're doing until you say everything that you do out loud. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. It's like, have you done everything in your power to be an expert in your field? I remember I would listen to sermons when I was going through a dark time in my life, as we all do. I would suggest you read your Bible or listen to pastors so you can really not go down a dark path, but an upward spiral, not downward spiral. And I remember that I listened to 3 to 5 pastors in a day of just YouTube videos, like hour long, 30 minutes on any subject, right? just to encourage myself. In the process of encouraging myself, I build these cisterns of understanding so that would help others. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, Andre, you know so much." I think to myself, if it's funny. It's like, if you want to know what I know, are you willing to do what I've done, which is put in the work? And it's not really work. I just listen to a lot of stuff, but it's like the fruit of that is revealed because I remembered it. When people have a problem, I answer like, "Oh my gosh, that was really good." I'm like, "I know, because I heard it." Faith comes by hearing. It shows. It's funny. I believe there's a statistic that says like if you read books like if you do whatever thing you're doing, if you read books on the subject, you listen to audios, you take classes, they say by default if you do that for whatever extended amount of time, doesn't matter, like if you just do that in general, you will automatically be the master, the top 10% in that field, because the other 90% will not do that. Most people will not read the books, they will not do the audios, they will not attend classes or workshops because they believe I can get that 10% success, and it just never works because you can't win. Because how? How can you could win, maybe you might scrape by, luckily, but the problem is how are you going to beat someone who's putting in that much understanding and work and mastering their craft, or should I say sharpening their saw? Remember that? And you're not, it's over. It's no contest. I mean, you can use this for math. I really want you to hammer this. I want to break that mindset because it's very pervasive in our society. So, with that, sharpen the axe. You're not going to beat somebody unless they have an attitude issue. They don't believe they're good in general after everything they've done. But normally your attitude improves as you feed your mind with the right stuff. But in any event, there is no way you're going to best someone who has whatever field you're in. If you want to dominate in your passion and make an income, there is no way you're going to best somebody who's read books, done courses, and all that stuff, and you're not doing that. I mean, it's you can cancel Christmas. It's over with. It's no contest. This is like that's like someone who works out and you don't work out. Someone who goes on the treadmill and you don't go on the treadmill. You're gonna run a race against them. You might win. Probably don't. So, with that, there's my rant. You have a blessed day. Deuces.